You're listening to As Read by Me, the podcast where writers read and readers listen.
Hi, this is Bill Rausch. This is a story titled Hofbrauhaus, as read by me. It's all about the beer, pilsners, lagers, bocks, lots of liters of Germany's best. And of course, nothing goes better with all that German beer than German polkas. And at the Munich Hofbrauhaus, oh, the rafters rattle with the awesome accompaniment of accordions. Hilda and Johanna were sisters. After 35 years of building washers, dryers, and refrigerators up there at the appliance factory, they finally retired. They were only 3 months into their life of leisure when the quite substantial sisters got bored with all that leisure. So, one Sunday night, after a couple of liters of lager up at the Hofbrauhaus, they decided to put their accordion-playing talents to work. They would start a band. Not just any band, mind you, but a polka band. They would call themselves the Fraulein Sisters. As fate would have it, 3 of their fellow factory workers retired 2 months later. And sure enough, all 3 were accomplished accordion players, just like Hilda and Johanna. And also, just like the 2 sisters, they were quite substantial. Okay, back to the Hofbrauhaus. Hilda and Johanna toasted the retirement of their appliance factory girlfriends, Lena, Eva, and Helga. It only took 24 toasts and 3 liters of lager to convince the 3 new retirees to join their band. And so, the all-accordion, all-women polka band was born. 5 fat Frauleins. And since all 5 were, as they say, quite substantial, and Frankie Yankovic and the 6 fat Dutchmen were their idols, that's what they would call themselves, the 5 fat Frauleins. Hilda, Johanna, Lena, Eva, and Helga. Well, it wasn't long and the 5 fat Frauleins had a regular gig up at the Hofbrauhaus, playing to a packed crowd every Saturday night. Every table, every bench, every booth, butt to butt with beer drinkers. All those lager lovers were amazed by the quite substantial retired appliance factory workers, the 5 fat Frauleins. Oh, they were good. Well, this happens to a lot of bands. What starts out as a unique notion becomes, just another thing. The 5 fat Frauleins were only beginning their 2nd year when the novelty of their all-women, all-accordion polka band, it started to wear off. The once-packed Hofbrauhaus was barely half full. Even Saturday nights, just a few regulars. "We has got to do something," Eva said as the 5 women gathered in her kitchen over coffee and strudel. Eva stayed up late to bake 3 strudels. Well, after all, 5 quite substantial. Former factory workers can put away a lot of strudel, you know. Before the 3rd strudel had been reduced to crumbs, the 5 fat Frauleins had their comeback plan all figured out. They, the quite substantial retired appliance factory workers, would put a whole fresh new face on the new 5 fat Frauleins. All accordion, all women polka band. After they discussed their idea over a couple of liters, the manager of the Hofbrauhaus, he just loved it. He advertised it all over town. Saturday night, the 5 fat Frauleins, all accordion, all women polka band, will perform, ta-da-da, topless. And sure enough, come Saturday night, the Hofbrauhaus was once again packed to the rafters. In front of the boisterous crowd, the 5 fat, topless Fräuleins flopped onto the stage and strapped on their accordions. The Hofbrauhaus was rocking. Pilsners and lagers sloshed everywhere. Their first polka, one of Frankie Yankovic's biggest tits, pun intended, was just getting started when suddenly, just like that, the 5 fat, topless Fräulein stopped playing and shrieked with pain, "Ah!" What the heck? They unstrapped their accordions and threw them down as they flopped off the stage. Pilsners and lagers stopped sloshing. The shocked audience went silent when they heard the ambulance siren. Hilda, Johanna, Lena, Eva, and Helga. All 5 were released from the hospital Sunday afternoon. Monday morning, still feeling the pain, they gathered once again in Eva's kitchen over coffee and strudel, being very careful not to make any sudden or jarring moves. After Hilda proposed it, they all raised their hands around the table. The vote was unanimous. The 5 fat, topless Fräuleins would disband. When they finished the strudel, they slowly stood up and ever so gingerly tottered out of Eva's kitchen, being very careful not to jiggle their quite substantial sheepskin bras.
Thanks for joining us. If you're listening on a podcast app, please hit the subscribe button to be notified when we release future episodes. For more information about the podcast and the authors, visit asreadbyme.com. You can also find us on Twitter, and you can stream video versions of the show on YouTube and Rumble. If you're a writer and would like to read something on an upcoming episode, send an email to writers@asreadbyme.com.